eventually got pretty damn scary, pretty damn powerful, and we got to see that there by the end. In some cases, going 1 versus 3, 1 versus 4, it felt like. I mean, the hero was just pretty ridiculously farmed. Point being, don't want to let that happen if you're the opposition, and one of the ways to do that is ban the hero. And sure enough, Cookies over here, the drafter at least for Wap Dash, taking out Wild Soul with Salamon. We got Behemoth and Agnes, the bans on the side of Mint. I'm joined by What You Got once again as my co-caster here. Looking forward to some game number two action. Excuse me, game number two action now. We got already an interesting pick, definitely. Midas and a Parasite, and then Gladiator coming out over here. So, where's the Gladiator coming from, you think?
I know it's a really popular hero in TMM, and it has the potential to set up a lot of ganks with the Showdown and the Pitfall combination. It's an overall really solid hero, good with in team fights with the Call to Arms. Makes your team take reduced damage, and yeah, it's just overall pretty solid as long as they get good use out of it with the ganks.
Well, they're going to run it here. Something tells me Tassi, for some reason, is a name that rings a bell with Gladiator. I don't know what it is, but something tells me we might... what was he playing last game? Let's check on that now. Who did Tassi play the previous game? Let's see. He played the Lord South Forest mid, so yeah. Wouldn't be surprised. Okay, yeah, there you go.
Sorry about that. Phone was ringing for a sec. I had to mute.
I heard that, yeah.
Okay.
But, yeah, so yeah, wouldn't be surprised if it ends up in his hands. Oh, there we go, though. We got Moira into Moraxis, and now Magebane coming out. So.
There it is.
Yep. Well.
Finally get to cast some Magebane Gaming Breaky. Are you excited? I'm excited.
Yeah, this hero, man, he was gone for a while. Like,
yep.
And it's like almost have to remind ourselves that because the hero obviously has had a lot of history in competitive one, and we've seen him many times throughout, but for most of Season 4, he was never picked. I mean, it was never a thing. And then it wasn't until very later on in Season 4 is when all of a sudden he kind of just started to take off. I know he did get a couple of buffs that really did. I think his Q got changed as far as how it worked, the scaling of it especially. So probably one of the bigger ones. And now he's considered top tier. Now he's like would you say that like he is the go-to carry, the top tier even, or?
I think the current state of Han at the moment, I think he's currently the strongest carry in the game, just because of how fast he farms and when he gets his items. Similar to how a Solomon kind of takes off faster than any other hero, Magebane's kind of like that other hero that he picks up the cleaver, but no other hero with a cleaver can farm as fast as Magebane. That's kind of what it boils down to. So he just gets his items faster than anybody, and he becomes super hard to deal with because he's so hard to kill and so hard to catch.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have a Moraxis third pick on Wap Dash's side. I really like that response pick coming out after the Moira. So it will be very hard for them to gank Moraxis. Whether they put it in the off lane or in the mid is still undecided. But Moraxis is a very solid pick. And then they have the Magebane Moira combination. Once that Mana Sunder starts to regenerate the mana, Magebane can pop that Mana Rift, and it does do tons of damage. So I like that combo over there on Fresh's side.
Yeah, that is a very I'm glad you brought that up because I'd like to talk about that synergy there. Again, for the longest time, we were under the assumption that it did not work, but as you pointed out, yeah, when it starts actually regenerating the mana, then you can use it, and it actually will take advantage of the loss of mana that you have. So, yeah, it is a great synergy to have there, and definitely some good damage potential from that. So a hero like Midas, for example, is pointing out there. Glacius coming out with a fourth pick for Wap Dash over here. The bans were Bubble, Sandwraith, Lodestone, Silhouette, Hellbringer, and Dark Lady. So, yeah, we got the Glacius now as a support option. Now, Riptide being right-clicked over here by Fresh. I know they have some history running that. Again, though, different guy not here, but Zephyronte in place, a fine player himself, of course.
I think the Riptide would have made a lot of sense last game since they ran a tri-lane. Ideally, you want to get Riptide in a 1v1 scenario because that's where he really does a lot of damage. If there's the potential of a dual lane coming out, which there definitely could be so far with Wap Dash's lineup, then Riptide maybe might not be the strongest mid option, but it is still a possibility. They are going to go with the rally instead, so they're going to have that line stun to work with instead. Definitely a solid choice. And also, we did see the Glacius, as you pointed out, and I think that is to deter a aggressive man up with Parasite, perhaps. So, um, oh, we are going to see the Scout versus Magebane matchup.
Yeah.
Has been becoming more of a popular carry clash as of late.
Yeah, when you get a hero that obviously just explodes once again back onto the scene and is considered so top tier, so powerful, you figure some ideal counters could start maybe popping up or possibilities there. And yeah, Scout one of them. You know, another one that kind of comes to mind off the bat is that we never see is Gunblade. Gunblade and that ultimate latching onto Magebane and preventing him from blinking away could be interesting.
I like that you brought that up. Gunblade is a very good counter to Magebane with that, what's the ultimate called? Is it grappling hook?
I think so. Grappling
shot.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, he can't obviously blink away. The only drawback to a Gunblade is that I believe once the opposition picks up a Geometer's Bane, and that is a very popular pickup, generally picked up as the second item on a Magebane, I believe that does break the ultimate where he can blink away. So that is where it becomes back to Magebane's favor, and he can't get locked down. So, also Gunblade, not really the biggest or the greatest farming carry, so that's where Magebane just kind of simply outclasses Gunblade, so to speak. But we do have Scout, and Scout can keep up in farm with Magebane, and the one good thing about a Scout is that he can really disrupt the farming pattern of a Magebane with the electric eyes. So we'll have to look and see if once Scout picks up his cleaver, if he does look to do that with his eyes, try to steal Magebane's farm and his farming pattern, which could definitely slow down Magebane's progression.
How about that final pick, too, though? Parallax coming out over here for Fresh. I know Sasuke's, out of all the Parallax games we happen to have seen since the Zero's come out, which has not been a lot by any means, but I feel like Sasuke's played the most of them that we have happened to see, so. What?
Yeah, I know for a fact Sasuke loves this hero. It's one of his favorite heroes. As you pointed out, he probably plays it more than anybody currently on the scene, and yeah, he plays it really well. I actually was talking to him the other day about how he skills the hero. I guess it's quite normal. I'm just not a Parallax player myself, but he does like to go the iconic dash and the fulcrum. So he does get the dark mana early on. We talked about this. Because I suggested that it was good against low mana pool heroes to steal their mana, and he just simply said having the silence is much better. So he's very comfortable on this hero for sure, and he knows it quite well, plays it really well. So we'll keep an eye on him this game. I know I made the joke the other time I was on the cast that I would flame him because he's my buddy, but he played too well. We couldn't flame him too much, so
Yeah.
Always good to see that coming up.
Of course, yeah. Hard to do that when he happens to play pretty decent there. And interesting, I'm also finding this a little intriguing because they're sending him as a bottom lane aggressive pseudo tri-lane here, and Rally ends up middle in the end. So, yeah, you think this is because of matchup purposes, if anything, but was this the better choice, you think? Send Rally mid?
I think it really just comes down to they want to contest Scout, and they believe that Magebane will get his farm because he'll be in a one-on-one with another melee hero, regardless. Ideally, they could get more farm on the Parallax against the Midas. He would have a pretty decent time. I still think Rally will do okay, but might get pressured a lot more from the Midas simply due to the range versus melee factor. So I think it just comes down to they think they can contest, have Parasite cause disruption for what's going to be a second support Gladiator who decides to go boots. So it's not going to be a head-on jungling Gladiator as we've seen Pexu do before, but more so a roaming secondary support type style of Gladiator.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it just comes down to they want to put pressure on Scout. They're going to go for a kill here onto Glacius.
Parallax just a little too far there, though.
Yeah.
No go there, and I don't know if again lack communication. It seemed like Parallax was actually pretty far back there, so and they do pause it. I don't know if something got messed up there or whatever, but Yeah. Anyways, point being, Glacius does survive, and it's going to be able to regen up here. But definitely potential. I mean, yeah, that's what I was getting at with like the rally compared to a Parallax. You think obviously rally a little bit more crowd control, of course, with that compel, a little less kill potential. But I'd say, I mean, Parallax, don't underestimate his potential of damage, and in a sense, some crowd control with the silence as you're talking about. So, in fact, he's going to go here on Glacius, a little bit of pressure being put out, but not going for kill, just simply harassing.
Yeah, I think you could definitely make the argument that having Rally and Parallax swap positions and have Rally being the Troy lane could be a little bit stronger for their laning phase. However, I think, and I don't want to say it's simply due to the ringer factor, but I think it simply comes down to Sasuke and the team coordination with the players. Feels more comfortable playing in the Troy lane. And since he is their Parallax player, they just decide to throw him into this lane. And he does have the escape similar to Rally with the iconic dash, so the two heroes function sort of in a similar manner where they could play both aggressively and defensively in this long lane.
So right there, we had Parasite and Moria running from the Gladiator and able to dodge the pitfall as well. Now Parallax, though, there's that combo. Pulled back in, Scout gonna open now. Glacius, he does get the freeze off. There's a silence as well, and just too much lockdown. I mean, they knew Moira wasn't there. She was again roaming over towards the bottom rune area, so that's probably what gave them the idea that, yeah, let's go. Let's make a plan of Parallax, and sure, he has the escape, but unable to use it there in the end. So, good lockdown, and Bloodlust kill coming out for Wap Dash once again right here. As we see, similar to last game, of course.
It's a good heads-up play by them, recognizing the positioning of Hellborn's Troy lane and knowing that they could go for that kill. So that's a good job. Moira did go for the Mana Cinder at level 2, so wasn't able to throw out the Ephemeral Forge and aid Parallax with a stun. Choosing to go for the more utility route in the laning phase, but just didn't happen to be there at the time. So doesn't have that ganking presence at the moment, as he is only level 2.
See right here, middle lane. Let's take a look at this matchup here and see how it is going. Sure enough, 18-1 rally. As bottom lane, actually, Scout is in some trouble, apparently. He does get the Ghost Marchers picked up right there. Another Vanish.
Their side has a dust, but they're not going to go for it. Oh, he did go for it, but didn't think that he would be underneath him. Okay.
Yeah. Another backup is here. In fact, now, actually, Parallax and Moira are the ones that need to be careful because, again, Gladiator coming around the flank. You see a Ballista's even going in right there. Interesting spot. But here comes Gladiator. Going to put the combo on a Moira at least. She throws out her Shards of Harkon. Hopefully help a little bit. But here's the opening. Not much Parallax can do by himself. And it is a kill onto Moira now. So the pressure is real from this Legion team.
Hasted Parasite coming in. He might look to do something here.
He's got that level 2 leech. Going to throw it out on a Glacius. Parallax. Enough follow-up? They need to dive right here if they want this kill. In fact, Parallax needs to be careful about living. They do get the kill to Glacius, but at what cost now? Not Cotowar, is the pitfall missing right there, but it doesn't matter. They get the kill to Parallax, but now Gladiator goes down. So a lot of back and forth, I guess, here. And really a 2-for-1 in favor of the Hellborn team. That final exchange, but they did lose Parallax compared to the Scout.
2 for 2 if you consider Moira dying at the start.
True.
The only difference is Scout is living through all these exchanges, and he's 3-0, so he's 430 gold per minute. Very important, whereas Parallax is the one dying in these exchanges, 0-2, only 220 gold per minute. So that being the biggest difference with these kill exchanges, and going heavily in favor of Wap Dash as far as the trades are concerned.
Yeah. Yeah, the top lane in the meantime. Another matchup to look at here, 21-2 more access. You have a 36-9 Magebane, so obviously Probusk is having a pretty good time over here overall. Bottom lane back down here, Moira. That one minor totem she has, unfortunately not going to be enough to help keep her alive right there again. This is where the Parallax, I think what you said at the end there about like just the players that they specifically have, maybe that ultimately is making it the case. But man, if Rally is down here, you know, that Compel, but in cases like that, he can help save teammates.
Yeah, and he's also very tanky, being a strength hero, so naturally has just more survivability than a Parallax does. So if he were to compel himself forward for a kill, he would be a little bit harder to bring down. Whereas, actually, we're going to see Pitfall come out onto Parasite.
Very active start here to game number 2. We had Bloodlust skill at 10 minutes, I want to say, into the last game. Now we've already had one very early on, and obviously it continues as Glacius is going to be chased down. So good job by Parallax there. Not only helping to keep Parasite alive, but actually help get the turn kill in the end. And 7 kills total now between the teams.
Yeah, so the point being between Parallax and Rally is that if Parallax does choose to TP to his Fulcrum, he is a lot easier of a target to bring down, whereas the Rally is just naturally more tanky. Compel middle lane, but not going to go for a combo.
Oh.
He's in trouble now. Midas going to go for him. Gets the transmute.
One more auto attack. Is he going to? No, he's got the. No, he is going to be a kill. Yeah, I was watching the bottom lane too, so that's like 2 things happening at once right there. Sure enough, Midas does end up getting the kill on a Rally, but yeah, back to the bottom lane. Mora also gets picked off again. That was, she had to deal with it a little bit earlier on. And she was actually trying to save Parasite, which she ended up helping save, but she kind of got caught then doing that, and they switched target to her instead. So, again, I didn't catch it all the way through, but that would be my guess. It just simply locked her down enough to get her taken out. So, yeah, 6-3 hero killing now, but here we actually continues. Scout, there's the dust. And he will fall. Parasite coming in with that very aggressive face hug. It's apparently not going to stop at this bottom lane. It's just going to keep up here. Just go.
About a minute and a half ago or so, we did see a D ward coming out from Forgotten One onto Bunny's ward. So they're going to go for Glacius here with the Shards of Archon. They have enough damage, though.
I don't think they do. In fact, they need to be careful themselves now. Yeah, Parasite. He's going to be turned with Midas rotating over. Easy kill and a turn on him. And Rowley going in, but he's not even going to get the kill. He gets pulled back right there, and now Rowley has to run as Gladiator is there to support with that showdown ability. So, now, I was actually just about to say this. When is Moraxis going to look to be involved? Because he's been doing this thing at the top lane. He is level 6 now. And sure enough, he's in the middle of making level 7 here. Oh, boy. He better land that Quake. He goes for it, that is. But yeah, now Moraxis is going to start to be a little bit involved here.
Yeah, and it makes a lot of sense because Magebane's at the point where he can just basically right-click Moraxis out of the lane, drain his mana, and then Moraxis has no power in that lane. So there's just not a whole lot that Moraxis can really do up there. Quake Stun is going to go out into the transmute.
God, Rally just had no clue what happened by the time he's dead right there. All of a sudden just dead, it feels like, I'm sure. Parallax gets pulled back in, the call to arms lands. And an easy follow-up kill onto him after that very solid execution. So not only the hero kills, but this is going to result in a tower kill. For the first time, it seems like these kills are going to really result in something now pretty big. And they get the tower mid. And now you see that little bit of a lead starting to build up here for Wap Dash as a result. So I don't know what it is about these series, but both game twos just have a lot of similarities to the first game. And it's kind of no different here. I mean, the first game is similar start. Wap Dash eventually got things rolling, and they started to build a lead. And then Pro Boss got his carry while it's the last game. Now, Magebane this game was doing very well, and then that kind of took off. So I feel like we're kind of seeing that deja vu once again because it's somewhat similar here in a lot of ways. Whether or not it's the same result, obviously you have to wait and see. But I don't know, how do you feel? Do you feel like Wap Dash is actually having a pretty good lead here, or does Mint got something good going for them? Are you there? Did I lose you?
Oh shoot, my mic was muted.
That's what I thought.
Sorry about that.
I was just about
I was
to say
talking
that.
and I was like, am I talking? Does he hear me? Okay. Scout at the moment has 3 kills and he's a little bit ahead of the Magebane, so I think they're in a pretty good spot. But yeah, both game 1 and game 2, they went for similar styles of lineups. The only difference being this time Fresh has a jungler, whereas they had 2 supports in their tri-lane. And this time, Wap Dash contested the tri-lane, but with a secondary support instead of a jungler. And the Gladiator has actually proven to do quite a bit this game. 1-1 and 5, almost 200 gold per minute, giving the space to Scout that he needs.
Yeah, Gladiator really is an interesting hero, and he can. There's definitely a two different sides of the spectrum that you can play this hero. One is this way, the very roam heavy, the very setup killer for your team, or the hard carry. Exactly, the one-hit wonder, you know, carry even, where he can literally attack once and kill all 5 heroes on the other side. I mean, yes, that's a dream world in a sense, but still, the possibility is there. So it's interesting how this hero works like that. But yeah, clearly the idea of running him as that roamer here, and you mentioned, you know, the draft, the ultimate is actually really strong. The buff that it provides to your team, it's a very, very powerful tool. So, Magebane.
Yeah, I think my team Complexity is one of the few teams we've seen actually run Gladiators a hard carry, and we've kind of shied away from it. We used to think it was not too bad, but I think, as you pointed out, just having him in a more utility roaming, set up kills with that Pitfall Showdown combination, as well as the ulti, just seems to be quite a lot stronger for his team. It's a very active hero, or it's, I think, played better as a more active hero.
Yeah. You saw the bottom lane there. Parasite really trying to stretch to chase the scout. Unfortunately, just a little too far away despite using his combo. Back to the bottom. Gladiator, speaking of him, that's right there. Another great example. Just easy lockdown onto Rally. Nothing he could do at that point to escape. So good kill coming out. The chase is on now to Parallax. But it looks like he's
Midas going to find Moira here in the tree line. I had an idea he was still here. That's a good heads-up play by Tassie.
Yeah, I thought that was an illusion, actually. I didn't even bother with it, so yeah, great heads up.
It is the new Moira skin. Just want to point that out. Forgot to mention it earlier. It's a pretty cool looking skin, in my opinion.
Yeah, actually, I'm curious to see the ult. He doesn't have the ultimate yet, but I do remember the ultimate actually looking pretty cool in the video that we did.
Yeah.
For this hero, so it does look pretty good. Yeah, I've noticed that with the Shards of Harkon too. They look a little different than what you normally would expect on the base avatar. They're more like star or like balls rather than shards.
Moira is actually one of my favorite support heroes to play, so I made sure to check that out, and I think it's a pretty sick avatar, so
yeah,
I like it.
It is fun to kind of see the progression of avatars and stuff. And just appreciate the cool ones, especially. Speaking of cool, Glacius right here. He's looking to set up maybe something on a Parallax. Obviously needs that backup if so. Morax is coming. It doesn't have a portal key, though.
Top lane, they are trying to set something up onto Magebane with the Veiled Rock Gladiator. If they do land the combo with the transmute, this should be a dead Magebane.
There's the combo. No.
And there's the magic armor buff from Flash coming into play.
And there's that toilet response as well from Moira as well. But missing everything. Minotaur. Oh, they're going to chase down Gladiator now. Oh, Blink in, however, he got hit by the pitfall. Doesn't matter, however, Gladiator is going to eventually get picked off in the end. Right there, so nice turn there.
So yeah, I hate to say it, but if that was any other hero than Magebane, that hero would be dead from those two heroes, Midas and Gladiator, with all of their spells used. But yeah, 12 magic armor when he blinks just makes those two combos do. They only took him down to about half, and that's just crazy.
That's a good point. Yeah, the showdown makes it so Magebane's like, okay, I'm getting showdown. Sure, I know I'll be pulled back in, but I might as well use a blink at least for the 12 magic armor, as you're getting at there. So yeah, very, very powerful that he has that, no doubt. Bottom lane, Dust came out. So Scout is seen right here. He's going back in. Moraxis jumps in as well. Look at the big burst. Rally and Paris, I feel it big time right there. Parallax out to the side. He's just using that Fulcrum Shift to run and get the hell on out of there because the damage already done. There's the tower kill on top of that, and Wap Dash extends their lead a little bit further now as far as the overall. So, yeah, I mean, Magebane, again, he's kind of been doing this thing at the top lane, a little bit of distractions every now and then, but 430 GPM, he's actually third in the game right now. Midas is even slightly ahead of him, and then Scout especially is way ahead of him. This is really looking good for Wap Dash. It is starting to be a little bit different now than the first game. I will say that.
Yeah, and maybe it's just their style to have the two supports rather than the jungler, because this is definitely working out for them. But yeah, Midas is having a really good game. I think we've kind of failed to point out how well he's actually been doing. We've focused a lot on the tri-lane as well as Magebane versus Scout, but yeah, he's playing quite well. And Scout is about 80 gold per minute higher than Magebane, thus he has a little bit over, or about a 2,000 gold lead on him at the moment. So he'll look to pick up his second item before Magebane can get his Firebrand.
Yeah, and you know, not to harp on it, but just a real quick, speaking of the Midas and his success early on, I think a bit of that does have to do with the laning phase once again. The choices of who they sent where. You figure matched up against a Rally, he's much more comfortable with that than against a Parallax, if it was the other way around. So, yeah, he took advantage of that, is the ultimate point there. And it's showing us as we're getting at 4-0-3, 440 GPM. Fantastic start with that post-haste and portal key here. Being able to make some plays. Puzzle blocks, I assume, is in the works still. Yeah, he has the bolstering armband. 1,400 gold saved up. So Parasite going to try to get that finish here in the near future is Denver Pro. That's what I was wondering, though, if Midas is going to go something like the Alkbones here. Possibly next, seeing that Parasite
for the Parasite
eventually gets a... If this was Zibby, yes, that would be happening. But
yeah, if it was Zibby, definitely. If they are to pick up an Alkbones on Legion, it would probably be on either the Midas or the Meraxes. Even actually Gladiator, considering his role in the game, he could just play more of the use your spells, Alkbones them all, or take the damage for the team once he throws out the ulti. So he just take the, was it 50? Actually, it's true damage, so I think it will still go through. But the point being, his role in the game could be just to take it out for the team. But yeah, definitely would like to see the puzzle box over the Codex as we saw last game, and that's simply due to 3 strength heroes on the Legion side as well as a scout. So Codex wouldn't really do a whole lot, seeing as how most of the heroes are very tanky by nature on the Legion side.
Oh yeah, no, I think the scout alone, like you pointed out right there, that alone is just, it's having that stealth detection is very, very good and very important to have here. So, speaking of Scout, look at this item he has
Goes
here.
to
The follow-up.
Shieldbreaker.
Exactly. The level 1 Shieldbreaker, I assume, is going to level it to 3 here. Interesting follow-up to the Rune Cleaver. Not your typical, but he likes it here for definitely a lot of kill potential, that's for sure.
Yeah, he's definitely going more the glass cannon, I want to burst you down type of build, and he's going to get a really quick kill on the Parallax there. Nice pitfall from Gladiator. Even throws out the call to arms, unnecessary as it was, but they get the kill done. They're going to go for more of it too.
Wow.
It's a nice kill.
Yeah, I saw him channeling that up. I was wondering, maybe just harassment, but no more Axis going in there, and it secures the kill. Top lane, Glacius having to deal with a couple over here, but Midas comes into the last second. Glacius does fall. Midas not going to risk going for any kills himself, so... Again, killing Glacius, at least it's a kill there, but they lose the bottom secondary tower on top of that, and Scout, he's got the gold for a level 3 Shieldbreaker. He might save for something else. I mean, you'd figure he's going to finish the level 3.
I think he's going to finish it. His next item choice after that would most likely be a Shrunken. But if they do look to take out Kongor in the near future, he could potentially go for something greedier, like a Brutalizer, just to lock whoever he's going in down. But I don't think it's necessary. I think we'll see Shieldbreaker 3 into Shrunken Head. Middle lane, Compel, gonna miss, but he's gonna get on out of there. No stopper for the TP.
And I think I just saw the Alkbones purchased. I want to say it was a Moraxis.
Yeah,
going to the candidate there.
Yeah, it's fine on him because he can pop the Matrax, and then he has that extra health to go through. So they have the candidates to go. They have a lot of strength heroes, so pretty much anybody could choose to opt for it.
It is also kind of interesting to see that he actually gets the Alkbones before puzzle's even finished.
Yeah.
Parasite, so.
Either way, it's still good for taking Parasite out of cannons or ballistas, because the only physical damage they would have was they would have to use their Scout open onto the ballista, which is not what you want to do. You want to use that very quick spike damage onto a very important target rather than the Parasite. So it's really good that they pick up the bones.
Yeah. Move bottom. Moraxis, speaking of him, he just used a stomp as well, so he is pretty vulnerable right here. Can he portal key in time is the question. No, he cannot. There's a face hug, and it's just going to be too much damage. Yeah, could have got the portal key off, perhaps, but obviously that was a very, very difficult situation. Would need to really be looking for it, but gets picked off. The top tower being pushed in, though, in the meantime. Scout and Midas up here. They do get the bottom first tower, but this is probably going to be a secondary tower top. Yeah, there's the invulnerability. Going to delay it, but there it goes. Scout level 16 now as well. And he's going to run. He throws up the silence just in case, too. Prevent them from going further. In fact, they're doing a fake fallback here. They're acting like they're going to go back in. Gladiator with the combo. Hits Rally. There's the open from Scout. 3 shots him coming out of it. God, that level 3 shield breaker, the vanish, it's insane. Yep. On top of the disarm.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to the previous series where Boxy was playing the War Beast. The earlier you get that shield breaker 3, you can really feel that damage. And Scout is one of those heroes where he does it arguably faster than War Beast, so you really feel that spike damage coming out at this point in the game with that shield breaker picked up.
Yeah. They hate to just making an observation here, but Moira is really at a struggle of a game, man. Sitting with the homecoming stone.
I think is what you're trying to point out.
Yeah, he's walking really
slow.
He's a little sluggish here. Not a pretty game for him. 22 minutes in and not have boots on a support. That's got to be so brutal. Honestly.
Yeah, it's one of those things where when you go aggressive as a support hero and you don't have a good time, it translates into you not having a good time the rest of the game. And it's just how the game flows for a support player. And obviously vision is more important than him having boots, which sucks for him, but that's just how it goes for the team. So
yeah.
He's going to have to wait until either they get a tower or 2 taken down so that he gets that gold boost, or he gets involved in some type of a kill happening.
See, Scout right-clicks the shrunken head over there, so he does get the little bit of a safer route. I was honestly I was looking forward to seeing the Brutalizer, but so this is the much more safe build.
It's definitely necessary, because if he gets locked down by a Compel, bursted from Parasite, and then R-button from Magebane, he will go down. So he definitely needs the Shrunken. And something that I think he could follow up his build with is a Portal Key, which I know it sounds maybe not as flashy as going more raw damage or something like that, but just being able to keep up with the Parallax or the Magebane with the Portal Key could definitely prove to be a valuable asset for him. So I would not say that something like a Portal Key is out of the question for Scout as his next item.
Yeah, no, we saw Madman with it earlier from Boxy and proved to actually do a bit of work. Good idea right there. Big jump over here, by the way. More Arcane Vortex. We'll stall a couple. Here comes the out of it. Call to arms set up pretty well as a result there, though. Parasite, takes over the Minotaur at the last second to survive. Nobody did. Okay, Parallax actually picked up in the background. Meanwhile, Glacius goes down now. Gladiator's on the run from Magebane. Probably going to be picked up himself. Rally does go down over here, though. And, actually, Gladiator lives, and now Moira goes down. And all of a sudden, Magebane realizing he's by himself. He has to blink on out. Quad kill coming out for Scout right there in the midst of it. It just happens so quickly. As soon as he gets on top of them, they just drop a couple seconds, not even later. And here comes the push into the base now. Buyback situation, no one. I mean, it's not the longest cooldowns here, but it's going to be at least a tower here, probably.
Yeah, and I was just going to point out that because of the point of the game, it's only 24 minutes in, I think Kongor would have been the better option. And that's only because if you look at the respawners, you had almost everybody coming back up in about 20 seconds. And it's really hard even to take down a base tower at this point of the game with only 20 seconds. So yeah, I would have really much rather seen them go for Kongor rather than put the base tower at about half. But that is obviously a hindsight to say, but...
No, it's fair, though, at the same time. And, yeah, having a level 3 shield breaker on top of that, definitely Kongor would have dropped really fast right there. And now this is the other downside, too, is that not only do they not push middle, but so despite the fight being won by WOP there pretty decisively, the outcome of it is almost going to be better for Mint, as they're going to kill Kongor here. And that's not being stopped.
They're going to get the token on the Magebane, so he's going to be able to play a lot more aggressive than he perhaps was able to play in that last team fight. It's very unfortunate that that Wap Dash didn't get that Kongor for themselves, because then they could definitely look to take the high ground if they were to have a similar team fight happen as they just did.
Yeah. So we're in an interesting spot here. You got a little bit of split push going on by the Legion side. You got Scout top. He's having to deal with Rally over here, but Gladiator's nearby. Going to save the day there. There's the combo, but the Arcane Vortex is a great stopper for that initiation from Gladiator. But look at that coming out of it. 3 hits again, and down goes Rally. So now the run is on. Beautiful pitfall from Gladiator. That placement, man. He knows what he's doing. Safe to say on this hero. And he's going to keep running and be fine there.
That's actually kind of funny how the interaction between Mana Sunder and Scout's Vanish works. So he still had the Mana Sunder debuff on him, and he went and used the Vanish there. But then because he did that, he immediately goes to 0 mana, and then he gets popped out of the Vanish. So he can't Vanish at all, even if he has the mana originally with the Mana Sunder on him debuff.
So that's like
he's going to get...
bit of a counter.
Oh, sorry.
He's
going to get Showdown here. That's a really nifty trick by... Gladiator and Scout. So he's going to come back, regen from the fountain, and then he's going to already be back top. That's a really heads-up play.
That's some really good synergy there. And yeah, you also see the dancing blade that he purchased when he went back to base right there on top of that. So yeah, very, very, it's like an Ophelia on crack.
Yeah. Kind of, yeah.
Not only do you go back, but you come right back as well. So it's actually that's a pretty nifty idea. How long is a showdown? It's 5 seconds. Obviously, you can activate it to bring it back too, but yeah. So if you just TP and then use it.
What they would look to do is channel the TP, and then when it's almost about to go off, send him back. Put the X on him, and then he comes back whenever.
It's a circle. It's not an X. This isn't marking the spot here. Anyways, Magebane. He's kind of looking out right here. Meanwhile, his teammate's going to get picked off, though, and Parasite a very quick kill yet again. Rally's turn now. He's on the run. There's the stomp on a Magebane, trying to stall him from going further. Rally does get picked off, though. Call to arms going through. Look at that, though. Scout sits on Magebane. Magebane dying quickly, but Scout ends up dying a little quicker in the end. Nice turn on to him, and now more axes falling. Magebane really manning up right there with that shrunken. Obviously, he has the token, too, so a little more willing to do so. Definitely the correct decision with that said. So very nice turn there.
Has the bound eye as well, so had complete vision of Scout the entire time. Yeah, so it's really like a unfortunate thing now looking back that if Wap Dash had taken that Kongor instead of going straight for mid, could they be in a different spot, much better spot?
That's true. Yeah, it's looking more and more at that point, and it's one of those gonna put a post-it, put a note there, because who knows, 20 minutes down the line when Mint's not only come back but pushing into the Legion base, and that'll be that kind of that swing moment, no doubt.
Yeah, they played a next to flawless game, I would say, up until that point, and. Whenever you play against a Magebane, you can really not afford to make any types of mistakes whatsoever, because it always feels like you make that very first mistake, and then you go from having an edge on the Magebane to where Scout was ahead of him, and it happens to where all of a sudden Magebane's ahead of you, and it just slowly starts to feel like the game becomes out of your grasp, because Magebane is just so powerful when he gets that far, and he's 723 GPM now.
Yeah.
About 60 gold per minute ahead of the Scout.
Just as you mentioned that, I looked at the GPM chart to be like, okay, so where's Major? All of a sudden, wow, 730 GPM above. Look at this, though. He gets bursted down there. Down. So there's a token use, but he comes right back up, of course. Here's a marksman shot. A little bit of damage to him, but just going to keep them from pushing here. I was going to bring that up earlier. I mean, the first towers, even several, they had only one tower kill essentially for the first 25 minutes of this game. So that's also something that Mint, was falling behind in, but can recover with as Moira gets caught over here. Chase continues a little bit more. Magebane in the midst of this fight right here, but he needs to run because Scout's sitting on him, actually. It's not going to be enough, though, I don't think, in the end. He has a blink up. He can't get it off, though. The silence is too strong, and he goes down. Parallax now with that Void Talisman trying to turn it. Does have that Earth Shatter. And, Scout completely underestimated it. He goes down, actually. Moraxis is going to have to throw out the stop to try to run, but, yeah, you can tell Scout wasn't realizing that. All of a sudden, he's dead. And a double tap for Sasuke. What a turn there at the end. Parallax, we have not been giving him a lot of love, honestly, this game. I think we need to start paying attention to him, too. And so does the Legion team.
He's doing really well. And his numbers aren't that flashy, only 350 gold per minute. He had a pretty tough time, I would say, in the tri lane. It was kind of back and forth. But yeah, he's really recovered quite well. And it's always nice to see Slaske when he plays a core, because a lot of the times we see him in that support role for his team, because different guy will be there, and then they'll have Denver Pro and a core as well. So yeah, it's not often we get to see him actually play a core, but when we do, it's always nice to see him swap up roles. Being that backup carry for the Magebane in this game.
Yeah, I mean, again, the difference in mana, and you look at this Legion team, other than Midas, it's going to be some great damage. I mean, in Midas, obviously, you know, maybe not more mana than him at this moment, but still. Other than Midas, he's doing a lot of damage to these Legion heroes. We saw Scout right there, especially the big victim in the midst of that. So it's something that, again, they're going to have to really pay attention to. The Void Talisman pickup proved to be big. The Null Stone also a very interesting pickup on a Parallax, preventing things like that Showdown from being applied. But I wonder if he is going to get a staff. That's obviously...
Yeah. Sheepstick onto Moira, though. He's going to get his TP stopped, so he's going to go down. Yeah, I'm glad you brought up the Staff of the Master on Parallax. I know Slaske actually really likes Staff on Parallax, and it would make a lot of sense because the Scout is the main focus, and he has the Shrunken Head, so the damage would go through that. But in middle lane, they pick off Parasite. It's a good pick off with the Sheepstick. Actually, didn't even use the Sheepstick, it looks like.
I saw, yeah, Scout was just sitting under the Vanish, and he just opened, and Midas just came and comboed with him, so easy kill.
Okay. So yeah, we definitely could see the Staff of the Master here, or the Sheepstick as two potential items for Parallax as his next item.
Well, the other interesting thing about Staff, yes, of course, it making a superior magic, so it goes through Shrunken.
It lowers the cooldown.
Pretty big, but yeah, lowers the cooldown. Cooldown is really huge big as well. As again, Parasite falls. He bought back for that, by the way. Here goes the seismic slam. There's Parallax on top of the Ear Shatter as well. Doing some decent damage to Midas, but actually not enough for the kill. Yes, there's the Mana Rift. That combo, man, all of a sudden, 1,700 damage Mana Rift to secure the kill on a Midas. And now the chase is on in favor of the Hellborn side. Or is it? Scout's kind of sitting around. Looks like the Legion team wants to make a counter right here. Oh boy, this is setting up interesting. Gladiator, he's going to have to throw out that pitfall. Now on the run. Scout nearby, but again, Scout's realizing it's just going to have to cut their losses. Has to run. Midas, or Magebane, excuse me, finds Glacius too. And we know how that story ends. So... look at the lead all of a sudden, too. Golden Experience, it has really cut down here in favor of Mint. They're still not in the lead, but, man, this has been like a 15,000 gold lead at a point. And we're now down to 5.
Yep. Yeah, they're hanging in there, and you could argue, even though the numbers don't suggest they're in the lead, they might be with the Magebane being level 25. And Parallax not doing too badly.
Yeah, Parallax.
He's going to put some pressure on this bottom tier one, going to force out the fortification. No buybacks being forced, though, so that is very good.
They are getting a Hellflower on Moraxis. That with a Sheepstick on Midas, definitely tools that they need here against the Magebane, no doubt. There are no Storm Spirits just yet on the Hellborn side, but they do have Moira, who, of course, is the ultimate stopper at that with just her ability of that Arcane Vortex. So it's going to come down to a game of that execution, that communication there. Can the Legion team jump Magebane, get him killed, get him CC'd quickly, or will Mint be able to react to it and then set up some turn themselves? Because, yeah, if Magebane's able to start blinking around freely in these fights and get that mobility, then no doubt, yeah, that's where it's scary.
The biggest thing is that they need to try to lock Magebane down before he gets flash off, because holy cow, that damage.
Oh my gosh, okay, he's gonna survive. The Arcane Vortex just a little too late. Yeah, he'll take Glacius though. Those are just illusions, aren't they? Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, so I was saying they need to get him before he gets the flash off, because if he gets the flash off, the only one who can really deal damage to him in the Sheep and the Hellflower is the Scout. Whereas if he doesn't get the flash off, the supporting cast can deal damage. And in the background.
God,
Double
Scout,
tap.
just 2 kills like that. Gonna catch that. It's just a sequence of 5 seconds. It's just 1, 2, 3 kill, and then a couple auto attacks later, another kill on the other hero. So again, if he's able to just get these auto attacks off, then he will rip right through you. So it's impressive. I mean, both teams, no doubt, have a lot of burst potential up front here, and the carries are definitely at that spot of obviously max level as well as very, very farmed. Here we go with Kongor, though. Scout is sitting on Kongor, but in the meantime, Magebane split pushing that bottom lane, so having to deal with that now. It's decision time once again. Glacial Downpour even going to be used, but Magebane not even really caring too much. He is going to pour it out, however. He did use a Shrunken there. Worth pointing out too. So that will be on cooldown. 40 seconds or so. They do get the token on Scout, who, by the way, has another 5,000 gold saved up. I guess right now you just wait for the token to wear off and then get another item here. If you're Scout.
Yeah, there's really not much he can do. He doesn't want to swap the Shrunken out yet because it still has 7 seconds on it, so it's still quite good. Definitely wants to replace the token slot rather than rebuy Shrunken at this point. Magebane goes for an Axe of the Malphite, so that's going to make him tankier.
Rally? Whoa, he went in and again just died shortly. Compel did not hit Scout either, so a little bit of a misplay there, you could say. Oh, Magebane gets caught. Never mind, just the Claudio arms hitting, but not going to be enough for a follow-up there. So down goes the melee Rex. You can tell Mid's playing this very, very safe right here. Other than the rally, that is.
Yep. Scout did use the Shrunken to get the Rex, so they definitely don't want to stick around and fight without having the Shrunken available. So definitely good of them to fall back after getting the melee Rex taken down. And we have 3.5 minutes on token. He actually drops it to pop the illusions from the bottle. So maybe they'll think the token's more. That's actually could be a heads-up play. They could think the token is out. Maybe. No, they're gonna see it here. Okay, never mind.
Okay. That would have been interesting. Trying to catch them off guard right there. But anyways, the real Scout. He's dropping a half life actually. He is going to get the fallback, though, in time. Here comes Magebane, though, blinking in. Going to catch Scout right here after the side. Scout turning with some damage himself, but Scout is dropping. He goes down. That Earth Shatter also doing work, of course. Scout now pops a Shrunken, though, going on a Parallax. There's that Arcane Vortex, however. Kind of 2 different fights going on here in the meantime. Magebane chasing down Gladiator, gets killed him with a Mana Rift, but over here, Parallax is killed off. You see Moira. She's going to survive for now. Scout got stopped with his marksman shot. There we go. Goes off, hits Magebane, actually. But now again, Scout being locked down. Magebane blinking in aggressively. Scout trying to run. Magebane able to avoid the stun right there. Sheepstick on a Parasite in the background. Scout, he is going to get out of there just fine, it looks like. Glacia's going to go for the TP. Moraxis, what escaping there from the Legion team, actually. They did kill Glacius, but man, I mean, the fact that Scout especially lived throughout all of that, it felt several times he was going to die for sure.
Buyback on Parallax, biggest factor, or maybe not the biggest factor, but definitely factor enough to force them to fall back. Yeah, another good fight from Wap Dash. They don't lose the Scout, force another buyback, this time on a more important hero than the Parasite. So making up ground. They did get the middle tower as well, so there's an exposed Rax now in the middle lane.
Yeah, still a lot of positive. It really is an interesting game. Again, how the progress continues here. It's starting to feel like that Mint was actually making the comeback and going to start pulling ahead themselves, but then all of a sudden, as we saw, the top Rax goes down. You mentioned the middle tower now going down, and they got a buyback out of that they were able to fall back from. So it's actually Wap Dash is now once again kind of the team that's in control here. Definitely now. It's still absolutely anyone's game, of course.
Picked up on Scout. Yeah, definitely anyone's game. So Scout goes for the Savage as his best option against the Wingbow. Nothing wrong with that. It does have a buyback as well. So he's pretty much capped out at this point.
Trying to think if there's anything else that really stands out that he could have gone, but Yeah, not really. I guess yeah, you really don't go Rift Shards obviously on Scout, so.
No. Although I actually saw Boxy do it the other day. He went Rift Shards on Scout, and then I criticized it, just like I criticized his Warby's build, and then they won the game. So I don't know very much.
Yeah, I mean.
Ooh, double damage given to him from Midas. This could be the brewing of something very big.
Oh yeah.
He could probably take this Rex out by himself in about 3 seconds.
1.
Pop the Shrunken 2. And just take it.
Yeah, it's about 3 seconds. You're right. It really was basically there. There's the Arcane Vortex. He did not Shrunken though, and that's going to be a fault here. He pops it finally. He's already taken so much damage though in the background. Parasite's dropping. Glacial Downpour actually did a decent amount of damage, it seemed like, while Parallax following in. The Magebane Mana Rift was used. It does secure the kill, at least on the Glacius. So far, he's the only one to die, surprisingly enough. And again, everyone else escapes. So only having Glacius die there. You see the Scout, by the way, 22 life over here.
He was at 1. I think because of the Gladiator ultimate, if I'm correct, he was brought down to 1 HP. Obviously regened a little bit up, but yeah, I'm trying to think how that fight could have potentially went if he popped the Shrunken and then Legion initiated on top of the ports. There was obviously the Arcane Vortex, which would cause a lot of stall for Hellborn to set up, but yeah, they could have definitely potentially taken a fight with that double damage still. I mean, he still has it at the moment activated right now, so they could have taken a huge team fight had everything lined up well. I'm actually being told that they want to start because Oscar has class in 2 hours, so they actually want to start on time. So I think I unfortunately have to leave you. This is such a close match, and I really want to finish it out, but
you gotta play. That's fine.
Yeah, I think I have to, unfortunately. So.
All right. Well, I thank you for joining me. Obviously, I mentioned earlier. Anything else you want to say before you leave us here?
Just the usual shout-outs, and it was really 2 good series. This one's gonna have a pretty good finish, I would imagine. I still think it's anyone's game. I think Fresh could honestly still win this, even with 2 melee Rexes down. So I think the viewers are in for a very entertaining finish, and I am very sad that I can't stay and cast it with you.
All good, all good. I'm sure you'll have Honcast on the other monitor over there, ghosting as usual, so I'm gonna watch.
I'm not slap breaking, come on.
All right, no, appreciate
American.
it. Oh,
okay,
American.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, appreciate it. Good luck. Obviously, we'll be watching your game next to you, so good luck with that.
Yep, take it easy.
Thank you. All right, there we go. So what you got? Abandoning us, you could say, leaving us for good. No, always happy to have him on. Obviously, great insight there, and pleasure to be joined by him. But he is going to be playing in his match here. So what? It's going to be Complexity versus Reason. I said, yeah, Complexity Gaming versus Reason Gaming is our following matchup. So going to be doing this solo for now. We'll see if I'm able to get another co-caster or not here coming up. So. For those that are listening, if there's any of my usual co-casters are around, feel free to hit me up. But yeah, for now, obviously finish off this series and kind of go from there, and we'll jump into that one once we are done with this one. It sounds like I'm obviously going to jump into that here. So, but yeah, man, seeing the Scout, the Gladiator ultimate obviously makes it so it goes down to the 1 life right there. At a point, but managed to actually survive, and again, the fact that Glacius is the only one to die, excuse me there, only one to die after that whole fight, pretty crazy stuff. So, but as what you got was pointing out there, it's this absolutely is still anyone's game. This is going to continue to be a great finish here even. To this game, and looking forward to it. So here we are, 42 minutes in. It is one of those two that feels like we're at the 60-minute mark by now. It feels like we've been really, had a battle here back and forth and going to the hour mark even, but we're 42 minutes in, which is still some good time here, longer than the average game, but obviously still not the longest game ever by any means. So still, I guess the point I'm getting at is still plenty of there's potential for this to be quite the longer game here. So yeah, again, looking forward to that here. All right, so we have Pitfall coming out right there, just attempted, but not connecting there. Similar rage finish on Magebane here now. So he does get his not only attack modifier, but very defensive tool to help stay alive. And that is a little curious to me. I will say it seems like a lot of these times in these fights, yes, Scout has been trying to jump him and do some good damage, and obviously we know he can. That's meanwhile jumping in the middle lane. Gladiator's caught, but oh, what a void talisman! It stops the seismic slam. Morax is coming in. He is going to fall at the end into Parallax. No turn kills just yet. These are all illusions that are dying. Scout going at it with Magebane in the meantime. But you see those misses coming out and everything. Magebane pops a Shrunken. Morax is down. Glacius 10. Scout all of a sudden, he's by himself right here. They're going to go on him actually. And yep, Scout, he is going to die. The miss is not enough. Midas the only survivor here. No buybacks being used, but definitely a huge victory for Mint here. Rally was the only one to die, right? Yeah, Rally the only one to die. Now, buyback situation. Scout has one, I'm sure, yes. In fact, he uses it right there. You see Midas jumping in. Not using the sheep stick. Okay, he does eventually on a Parasite. And they do get that quick kill at least. So, nice kill there. Look at Magebane bottom lane, though. He's going for the melee racks. Got to get them to come over. Oh, the silence, actually. Uh-oh, Magebane underestimating this, perhaps. He does have that symbol, though. He has a Geometrist Bane. Can he use it? Can he get off in time? He does. He just wants this kill. He's going to die for it at this point. He does eventually blink away. He's going to have to pop the Shrunker, though. Yeah, he already used the symbol, actually. So Probus getting a lot of trouble right here. Oh, man, the fact he escapes, though, is huge. If they were able to kill him there, he definitely had a buyback, of course, but making him having to use it, if anything, would have been huge here for the Legion side. So, great escape for Probusk right there. He did not get the melee racks, but he got it low, and he got them to use invulnerability here as well. So, that'll be on cooldown, obviously, now for several more minutes at least. What is a cooldown? Isn't it like 600 seconds, I want to say? So, no, it's not 600 seconds. That wouldn't make sense, actually. That would be 10 minutes. So, it's not that long. But anyways, I want to say it's like, what, 4 or 5 minutes? Anyways, they got at least a couple more minutes here on that invulnerability, if not longer. I want to say it's 5 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. Anyways, point is, got about 4 minutes now remaining on that invulnerability coming out. So, we'll see if Magebane especially is able to get back in there and maybe try to backdoor that melee rack spot him. They do got something like, does he have post haste yet? Yes, he does. So, Magebane does have post haste. They do got the puzzle box with Parasite as well. Could try for some nice little backdoor strategy there, but definitely a tactic that I'm sure Mint's kind of looking at. They are down 2 melee racks here. Obviously, both the middle and the top lane. So, wouldn't be surprised having to resort to those tactics here. Parallax has 4,700 gold saved up. Jeez. Does have enough for the staff if you actually wanted that. But, we were talking about that earlier. The Staff of the Master, not only does it make it superior magic damage, which obviously allows it to then go through Shrunkins, which in this case you would be able to deal with Midas. And I'm guessing Scout rebought his Shrunkin because he currently doesn't have one. Yeah, looks like he did. Okay, so he rebought his Shrunkin, so yeah, another 10 seconds. Those are 2 prime targets that you want it to be used against. So I definitely think the Staff of the Master makes a lot of sense here, and it halves the cooldown, so from 50 to 25 seconds. That's pretty crazy. So he has a chance to use it multiple times or keep the uptime pretty crazy in these fights here is the point coming up. So I am a little surprised he actually hasn't gotten it yet. Now I know, again, buyback's always important. He only has 1 left. He does have an open inventory slot, though. At the very least, could buy the glowstone to work towards it, get those stats at least. But the way he's not buying it leads me to believe he might actually be looking to right-click a sheep stick here, possibly, which, again, also wouldn't be a bad item by any means. But it would mean their damage potential would be perhaps a little bit less here, especially now rebuying the Shrunken on Scout. Whether or not they're going to realize that is a different story, but Scout now having 10 seconds on the Shrunken, that means he's going to be invulnerable to Parallax for those 10 seconds, of course. So, meanwhile over here, Moraxis, a little bit of a jump. There's a sheep stick on a Moira. Not the most prime sheep stick target, but it gets the kill. Now it's going to be a 5 versus 4 here. See off to the side. Magebane, look at this. He's trying to bait out with the illusion. Let's see if they'll fall for it. I don't think they're going to fall for that. Yeah, it was a pretty obvious one eventually. Here we go, the Kongor area. Scout being dropped. Scout just melts right there. He does not have a buyback either. Oh, no. That is not the great time. I think he had a double damage run as well. I believe I heard it right there. So Scout getting picked, though. No buyback. 70 seconds left before he resurrects. Not only is this going to be a Kongor kill, but this is very likely going to be a push into the base on top of that. Oh, man, what a turn of events here all of a sudden in favor of Mint coming out. As now Magebane falling back to base here. You got Rally. He's also working on the Staff of the Master himself. But yeah, Magebane, another thing too. What do you think of the token to, by the way? Oh, they give it to Parallax. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Magebane's at a point where the idea of not only he doesn't frankly have an inventory slot, better off just saving all his items. So give it to Parallax instead, who did get the sheep stick. So he does end up right-clicking the sheep stick. So he's not going the staff route, but getting the sheep stick maybe for reasons like this. He actually didn't use his Earth Shatter there. It was on cooldown, so a little more explanation there. And Midas is going to be fine for now. Look at Parallax, by the way. Something else to keep in mind. 84 charges on his Dark Mana, which means he has, what is it, plus 924 maximum mana. So he's sitting on 3,200 mana here. That's insane. I mean, that's a lot of freaking mana. And again, the difference, the buff that gives to his ultimate, obviously there's a lot of text right there. Simply put, the more difference his mana is than the opponent's as far as maximum mana goes, the more damage he does. So, obviously having 3,200 mana, you compare it to the likes of Glacius, 800 mana, Gladiator, 900 mana. It's so much difference there. Amplified damage. Even, honestly, Midas at this point, he's got almost nearly 1,000 difference in mana pool. So, he's actually potentially going to be dealing obviously, we've already seen plenty of damage, a lot of damage now on this Legion side here. So, the token on Parallax, you got bananas on Parasite. 8,400 gold on Probusk here. All right, so now the game of what do I spend the gold on here? He does have 2 buybacks, of course, a double buyback, but even with double buyback, he's still figuring it out around 4,000 gold left over, so maybe a little less. But Morio's toying with Gladiator down here. He's trying to keep him at bay a little bit long before, oh, they almost got there. You saw that Earth Shatter come out, but just not enough. And Gladiator will be fine there. So, good attempt, but not good enough for the kill. You know, here I am. I realized I just ran out of water. The thing is, I do not have any water down here, so rather than leaving, rather than going AFK for a second, I'm going to grab a beer out of the fridge. This is just for the purpose of keeping hydrated, nothing more. Refreshing. Okay. We're going Truckcast all of a sudden. No, just kidding. I'm not going to do that. Okay, anyway, so we're coming to 51 minutes into the game. It still is a case of we don't know what's going to happen, frankly. And, oh, my God, we do know we got a Doombringer in the game, though. Wow, what a decision from Probusk. He has 2 buybacks. I mean, they are down 2 racks here, 2 melee racks in the middle. Did get completely cleared out. I guess they are a little bit on their back foot, definitely, but it seems a little early at the same time for a Doombringer, but he says no, it is not, damn it. I want a Doombringer. He gets it. He did sell the Rune Cleaver for this, or he dropped it perhaps, but look at the melee racks just melt. Not surprising, and at least they make up one of those right there. The top range racks goes down, so it's now officially 2 sets of racks down in favor of the Legion side. We have a little bit of a race going on, by the way. Gladiator goes down. Scout's going right for the tier 4s. Killing the shrine. Going to go for the actual sacrificial shrine here. Hellborn team needs to get back. They're not going to win this race. Yeah, Scout realizing all the TP's coming in. He's going to start falling back now. Using that vanish, and he should be fine. So, yeah, the Hellborn side, they had to get back, defend against all those creeps now that are heavily pushing in. They still have the bottom to work with, the bottom tower, the bottom racks, but losing one of their tier 4s now. And look at this. They're having to drag it all the way to the well and kill them off over here. Meanwhile, back to the bottom lane, more Axis. Jump, Parallax and Magebane, plenty of damage. Scout, he opens on a Magebane. Disarm comes out. Parallax caught, and Parallax will fall here. A token bringing it back up, but immediately dies shortly after. And a retribution indeed here for the Legion side. So not only do they get that great pressure on the base, but then they get another pick off on a Parallax. Another the dominating control here from Wap Dash of the map right now. So you obviously have the big lead for them here. And now Mint's in a spot. For the first time this game, I really do feel like one team is actually in a much better chance to win than the other team's spot. You know what I'm saying? It feels like it's about a 70% chance to win now for Wap Dash. Like, well, I guess that'd be a 30% chance for a man. So there's definitely still a chance here. I mean, at Magebane alone, they did get the bottom racks cleared out, and the backdooring potential, the split push is always something to be very scared of. But I will say, as far as making a guess on what may happen here, this could come down to an absolute base race. Either that, or Magebane getting picked off, or just wrecking with the Doombringer. Obviously, these are all several different scenarios, but you get the point. Definitely still plenty can happen in this game is the ultimate point once again. So, what was that there? I heard more, more illusion scouting out. Just seeing what's up. Obviously, Mint's definitely in the spot now. They're just all sticking together, protecting the Magebane, making sure if he gets jumped, they are there to respond, because obviously if he gets picked, it might as well be GG at that point. I mean, he has 2 buybacks, so not in that sense, but because he went the Doombringers, giving up that Doombringers, not going to be good news. So, having to really keep that in mind here. As far as where we're at, bottom lane, Scout, he's going around with that Vanish. He's got some build rot down here in the meantime. Parallax going to run into Gladiator, but Moraxis immediately there to respond. Gladiator will die still, but Parallax falls shortly after as well. Scout plenty of that. Look at this Magebane though, the auto attacks with that Doombringer. Scout got low, but I saw some misses popping in there, helping to save the day. Parasite is barely going to live. Scout could not finish him off. And actually over here, the Arcane Vortex. Oh, that's a little funky, actually. Glacius going to be picked off. They do kill Scout in the end. He does have his final buyback. He's going to use it immediately. Seismic Slam to take out Moraxis. Man, I got to say, Provoski wasn't even close to dying there in that last fight. I mean, I don't know if the Legion team just wasn't focusing him or what, but, man, he was fine. Look at Scout, by the way. He buys back and tries to really continue the push now into the base. But Hellborn team's already porting back. They should be able to defend this pretty well. Man, I don't know. Just as I'm starting to feel like Wap Dash actually has this good lead going for them finally. Not so much. Now Scout's out of buybacks. And is clearly able to be picked off here by Mint in these fights. And he buys a Doombringer of his own. I love it. Okay. What a game we're having here. Not only is this, as expected, here we are 55 minutes in and we're still going. As I said, I wouldn't be surprised if this is an hour-plus game at this point. We have a Doombringer on either side. Seeing one Doombringer in a game is so rare in itself. Seeing now 2 is absolutely insane. By the way, Magebane, he didn't actually get any of those kills that last fight, so he does not have any charges yet on that Doombringer. Remember, you have to actually get the kill. It's not the assist. I'm guessing that's what it is, that he doesn't. Each hero kill, so it's the actual kill that you need to get there. So, of course, it's 10 damage, I want to say. Yeah, each kill applies plus 10 damage to the Doombringer. Bottom lane, there we go. No, he doesn't get it again, man. They should really, they can't really, really make sure that happens. That's just funny. He's not able to get it here. But, ends up getting the kill onto Rally, or so does the team. Seeing the double Doombringer, man. I mean, Magebane has another 5,000 gold almost saved up. Could he sell something else and get another Doombringer? He can't. He has to keep his inventory. And there's really no point for that anyways, probably. So, yeah, just save for the double buyback here. And you'll be fine. Scout, on the other hand, I think you could argue he could sell the Rune Cleaver and buy a second Doombringer himself. But other than that, I mean, they're just kind of farming just for the sake of pushing out the lanes and everything. So, okay, port back to the middle lane here. Here's a push in the middle. Look at Scout at the top. Is he going to go? No, he is going to actually port back. Not going to risk it. Shrunken in on Magebane. He's going to start running away now. So they're going to fall back, actually. Not going to risk, again, their Tier 4 tower. They do want to save that as much as they can. As soon as that Tier 4 tower goes down, all of a sudden, obviously, again, it's in the obvious here, I know, but the shrine dies, you lose the game. That's how it works, guys. But no, once obviously they can't attack the shrine until the defensive tower is down. Once that's down, it's pretty crazy how fast it falls, especially when you got both the middle and the top racks being dead. The minions are very powerful at this point. So it's one of those cases like, if you're not paying attention to it 100%, really making sure that at least somebody's there, then you'll lose your shrine. Kind of catch you off guard even. So, yes, having that tier 4 tower up at least is kind of that backup at least. So, okay, at least they need to get through that before we have to worry about losing the actual game right here. So that's what's on the mind of Mint, I'm sure, keeping that alive. In the tier 4 tower there, Magebane. Blinking forward, I don't know if he was looking for the rune or whatever, but just kind of checking it out. Kongor is up. This is the 4th Kongor, not that it really matters at this point. Bananas has already dropped once, so are the bananas? Yeah, I was going to say, I thought I saw them. Yeah, Parallax still has bananas, in fact, on him right here. So they do stack, so if he wants to get a second one, could be big. Yeah, people are bringing up, I mean, selling the Rune Cleaver to pick up a Doombringer, whether or not that actually is the best choice. I mean, it's hard to suggest that getting a Doombringer is ever bad, especially in this case, but I do understand that. I know we've had that argument in the past, whether or not getting rid of a Rune Cleaver at this point, it obviously hurts his impact of being able to creep clear very effectively. So, oh man, middle lane though. Big Viper, and they're going to jump Parasite, get the quick kill. Is that the prime target, though? Sword Spear comes up, they can't even get the kill. Look at that Earthshatter. Scout's going to die right here. They can't do a damn thing. Second Doombringer for Magebane. He comes out of that right there. He sold his boots, by the way, to pick up a second Doombringer. He's nearly two-shotting people. Is Mint actually going to win this because of that? Unbelievable. Scout does not have a buyback. He moves so freaking slow. He only attacks one target at a time. But holy crap, is he dealing so much damage. He has both of them now, each with one charge. Look at the Legion team, though. They're going to backdoor as much as they can. They got Midas. They got Gladiator. Rally is back here now. If you're, I don't know what you do if you're Mint, because you're not going to win this race at this point. I mean, they're going right for the tier 4, but I think Gladiator and Midas can win this themselves. Rally, he's in trouble. Midas nearly died right there, actually. So, but he does get away. Look back over at the World Tree. Oh, never mind. I guess the Hellborn team can win this race. You see Magebane putting on the World Tree, so much damage with the double Doombringer. Yep, the World Tree's going to die first at this point. Unless they can get a hold here, Midas porting back, trying to do what he can. He can't do enough, though. Shoots got him, and game number 2 will go to Fresh. Unbelievable finish. Oh, my gosh. We expected it to be crazy, and it turned out to be over an hour game. Ended up in a base race. I guess that's what we called, and that's how it ends. So the double Doombringer on Magebane, he picks